Jim Edwards here, sat alongside JOHNS. He's going to be taking on PEDRO MUNHOZ coming up on Saturday at UFC 227 here in Los Angeles, California. Brett, it's been a minute since I've seen you, man. Always good to catch up. Tell me, first of all, how are you doing? I know you got into Los Angeles a few days ago.
Yeah, no, I started off about 2 weeks ago. I think when UFC Hamburg was on, I ended up coming out to Vegas. I love Vegas. I love the vibe, and obviously the last fight didn't go to plan. We were in Philadelphia first of all. I just found it very difficult to kind of like get my diet right out there, you know. But all fairness, you know, Vegas is perfect. You know, I love Vegas. Using the PI, and what I love about the PI is the people there who work there are only happy to help you, and that made this part of camp really easy. Yeah. So like, for example, now I'm very green when it comes to dieting for a weight cut week. I do it my way. People would look and go bananas, they go crazy, you know. But it's my way of doing it. It's how I mentally feel doing it. But this week I've been eating until now, and I feel brilliant. My weight's, I'm probably a bit lighter than Atlantic City, you know. So I feel good, you know. I feel not too bad. Jose Torres said something about an 8% rule. I didn't manage to get that email, but anyway, my week is going really well. I feel fantastic, you know.
So I mean, let's clear this up. This 8% rule, does that mean you can't be over 8% of I guess 135 pounds, whatever that is? Yeah. It must be like 142 or something. Yeah,
right? I've looked into it, but I'm sorry, I haven't really looked into it. But yeah, it's something to do with that, you know. And it's very, it's something I don't agree with it really, you know. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of big guys doing, a lot of small guys to the weight. If they're gonna bring this rule in, I'll have to go further, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I feel good cutting the weight, you know. I had problems in the past, you know, don't get me wrong, I lost 2 world titles losing my weight, but it wasn't so much my size, it was how I was doing the weight cuts. Sure. You know? But now I've got a finger on it, and I know what I'm doing, I feel good doing it, so, you know, obviously I understand that doesn't go for everybody, but that's how I feel, you know. Yeah,
I mean, you were saying that you've been to the UFC PI, like, how much of a, I guess, game changer has that been, or a help, I guess, for you?
Huge, absolutely huge, honestly. The way I'm treated out there as well, you know, it's nice. Back home in the UK, back in like Wales and stuff, it's very raw, very new, you know. So for example, like things like the PI and stuff is miles away from that, you know. It's free. You know, the only thing you're crazy, isn't it? Yeah, the only thing you're paying for is your digs, your accommodation, and the rent car if you need the rent car. Realistically, I maybe didn't need the rent car for that week because I was so close, you know, the digs I got was so close. But yeah, the only thing I didn't take into consideration is like all my sponsors who helped me to come out here. I was like, okay, they've all paid me brilliant, you know. We might have a couple of quid left over to put towards something else. This time it doesn't. I completely didn't take into consideration the time of year it is, you know, all these different things. But you know, it's gone smooth though. Having said that, it's gone smooth. So things like going to the PI, going to the gym for free, eating for free there, you know, that's obviously saved a lot of money as well, because coming out your 2 weeks before the fight isn't easy and isn't cheap, like, you know. No,
for sure. I mean, let's head this off as well. Last time didn't go your way against Aljamain in Atlantic City. First loss of your career as well. Like, what was the kind of difference, I guess, in the feeling after the fight when you went back home? Like, was there any kind of difference in the way people treated you, but also the way you felt as well going home after a loss?
I was absolutely petrified of knowing that feeling before the fight, you know. I was petrified. I thought personally that people would forget about you, you know. It sounds really weird. As an undefeated fighter in the game, especially with someone who has the same mental thing as I got, when you lose, I thought, oh, these are people that we're going to start going their separate ways. But it's been quite the opposite. You know, people have been really supportive, and that is why we've had a quick turnaround. I think it's after like 106, 107 days. We've had the quick turnaround. You know, because at the end of the day, I truly believe that performance wasn't 10% of me. You know, I don't. You know, having said that, I thought Aljamain still looked fantastic in the fight. I really did. You know, but I didn't feel like it was me. And I feel like I need to justify that. I had a lot of like, not problems, there's no problems, but there was a lot of things outside of camp. I felt like this was becoming a job, you know. I'm a UFC fighter. I dreamt of the day to be a UFC fighter. I'm a UFC fighter, and it turned into a 9-to-5 job. It generally did. I hate to go to the gym. And when I come back home, I was taking it back home with me in my house. and it wasn't right, you know. And but now it's not. Because I always say it's swept beneath the carpet. It's not swept beneath the carpet. It's been sorted out. We're back. I'm feeling motivated more than ever. I'm ready to go. I feel fantastic. Just done a sweat now. I feel absolutely amazing, and I'm back. So I feel like I'm back.
Was there anything you kind of changed up then? Like you were saying, you became a job. You changed some stuff, and now you feel back motivated. What was that? What was the kind of thing that you changed up?
Believe it or not, you probably find it hard to believe, but I watched the Joe Rogan podcast, and I watched Michael Chandler on the podcast.
Sure.
And he was talking about like how he went, like I think it was like 500 odd days on 3 losses or something.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Michael Chandler's one of the best fighters in the world.
He is.
You know, and he went through like 500 odd days with the consecutive losses he had, and he was saying what he was going through, and I was going, wait there. I'm going through that. Oh wait there, I'm going through that. And how we dealt with it and stuff. And then I sat down with obviously my family, and then sat down with my coaches, and then we kind of put a finger on it then. And I feel like it's turned from that 9 to 5 job now back to something I'm enjoying.
Sure.
You know, and I feel brilliant, honestly. I'm not sure if people can see it, the difference between interviews from Atlantic City now, but I feel a lot better and a lot more in control, you know?
Sure. Pedro Munhoz on Saturday, kind of in a similar position to you. He's had a few fights in the UFC, he's faced some really tough competition,
yes.
Coming off a loss though. Like, what do you see in Pedro as kind of an opponent? Where do you kind of see his strengths, and where do you maybe see yourself capitalising on Saturday?
He's a fantastic fighter, you know, there's nothing else to say about it, you know. I think people, I've had messages going through my Instagram, watch the guillotine. Trust me, I'm watching the guillotine. You know, it's one of them things. It's a tough fight, and this is what I mean about me as a fighter. I have a job. My job is to be the bantamweight champion of the world. I truly believe I can get there. You know, and it's not even with the right fights, because I believe I'm going to fight every single one of them guys, 1 to 10. I am, you know. And Pedro was the guy to give us first, and I felt like it was a lifeline. I felt like it was a second chance, and people would look at this fight and think, oh, it's a tough one to come back to.
Sure.
But my job is to be in the top 10. I believe I'm one of the best fighters in the world, so I'm going to eventually fight these guys, and that's what I want to do. So Pedro Munhoz was the perfect option. It's going to be an absolute slugfest. It's going to be a bloodbath. It is. I know it is. You know, I'm prepared for that. Every fight I've had in the UFC, I'm prepared for these fights. I'm prepared for 15 minutes of just getting absolutely hammered and hammering some people back. You know, and that's the way my mind works with fights. If I get the 30-second finish, then brilliant. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't like a 15-minute tear-up, you know?
For sure. I mean, let's talk about the card itself. Like, let's be honest about it. I don't think it's maybe one of the strongest pay-per-views, but when you're kind of on the undercard, does that kind of give you a bit more motivation in the sense that I can really make myself stand out?
100%. UFC 227. For starters, it's the first time ever that I've fought in a numbered event, you know?
Yeah.
First time ever that a Welsh guy's fought in a numbered event, ever.
It's history. Yeah,
a little bit, you know, and I'm only happy to knock the history thing off, you know. I was the first Welsh guy to fight in the UFC, the first Welsh guy to get in the top 15.
First one to hit a calf slice.
I was going to say the calf slice, the second guy to the calf slice, no, but I'm happy to be that guy who keeps knocking off these records, and at the end of the day I want to be, when my days are gone, when I'm lying as an old man, I want to be the guy who set a load of records out, you know. That's what I want. And to me, I want to bring it back to Wales, and I want to be the guy to bring it back to Wales.
Yeah.
First I got Pedro to deal with, you know, and Pedro is going to be the hardest fighter of my life. Full stop, period. It's going to be, you know. And but that's what I like about these UFC matchups, is that the fact is it's going to show true character, and especially with the US market and sorry, the US fans and the European, they like that in fights, you know. And I'm only happy to build my character in this game, and I feel like this fight with Pedro is going to show the true colours of a true fighter. Me and Pedro, you know what I mean? I'm not only just myself, you know. Pedro's going to show his colours as well, you know, and I like that with fighting, you know.
Like you're saying there, you're always kind of that step ahead, I guess, of the other Welsh fighters. Like, we've got some other great, like Jack Marshman, John Phillips come to mind, but there's also kind of a younger generation as well coming through, like Jack Shaw, who's going to be headlining Cage Warriors. We always talk about this UFC fight card coming to Wales, but can you kind of just see the pieces of the puzzle kind of coming together now? Like, I guess the only one lacking is maybe the venue, right?
Yes, the same with the venue. I think potentially they could pull the UFC off in the CIA in Cardiff, the Motor Point.
Yeah.
Potentially, you know, depending. It'll be a tight squeeze.
Yeah.
we got guys there. We got obviously Jack, we got John, we got obviously Craig White's an adopted Welshman now, you know what I mean? We got myself and like the younger stars coming through, you know. There's loads of guys like Jack Shaw's fighting for that Cage Warriors title. Josh Reed, I know Josh has come off 2 losses, but Josh Reed's in that picture, and a guy that I absolutely adore in the sport, someone who I looked up to for a very long time, who's coming back into the picture, is Chris Edwards. Chris Edwards is a guy that I absolutely love. You know, I think he's a fantastic guy. Went through a really bad stint, and then he's come back now. You know, he's fighting Brian Boolan next. You know,
yeah, man,
guy
it's a huge fight on that Cage Warriors card, right?
If he wins that, you know, saying that doesn't go well with Jack Shaw, he's got to be in line for that belt. No matter what anybody says, he's beating the right guys. You know, not that I think that's going to happen. Jack Shaw is going to smash it. I truly believe that. But yeah, we have got a strong background of Welsh fighters coming through, and it is very exciting to watch. Very.
For sure, like, you know, like you're saying, Ellie, coming off the back of that loss, but has that made you readjust any of your kind of goals on where you want to be by the end of the year, like what you want to achieve by the end of 2019? Are you one of those people that kind of like lays it out for yourself and sets yourself goals?
Yeah, I want to, obviously, depending on what happens Saturday, you know, I'd like to get back in the December time, or maybe just the end of November. I'd like to get on Polaris, you know,
yeah, it's a good
show, you know, but I'd like to get on that. That's going to Cardiff, I believe, on the 9th of December. I'd like to get on that card. But if I can get a fight on maybe the end of November, that would be also cool as well, you know, but we'll see what happens this weekend now, you know. I'm hoping there's no major injuries, nothing like that, you know, but there'll be plenty, I think there'll be plenty of blood, but hopefully no injuries and we can get back to it then.
Why do you think the UFC keep bringing you to America? Like, there are a lot of other European fighters where you know, they do just roll them out in the European events in London, maybe in Hamburg or somewhere, but you consistently are coming over to the States. And I know you fought in Titan where you were in the US, you had that like visibility with the audience, but it's every single one now. Why?
I'm not sure, and to be honest, I haven't had an answer. I begged for a UFC Hamburg card.
Yeah.
I begged for it for months when on social media. There was guys, there was bantamweights on the card, and they even slotted in a fight that I wanted at the time, but they slotted a different fight in, and I was like, right, okay, draft, I haven't got that card. But then they announced and they said, oh look, Red, you can fight UFC 227. Los Angeles Staples Center.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And it was realistic. I knew it was Pedro. I knew it was a tough fight. At the end of the day, I felt like maybe the option was we can fight someone outside the top 15 in Hamburg, or you can fight someone in the top 10 in Staples Center. And I'm always going to choose that fight because I want to try and build my role as a fighter. And yeah, that's what I chose, you know.
What do you think? What do you make of Los Angeles as well? See, like you're geared up to the nines. You got Lyland Scott, you got your Lacoste bag. Like, do you love it? You love being out here?
I do, yeah. You know, another thing as well is like obviously I like a lot of fashion and stuff. You know, and me and my brother in the middle of doing like our own little brand. We're trying to go on the similar route of Lyland Scott, Lacoste and stuff. You know, and I like my clothes and they're very cheap out here. So that's another thing. You know? My girlfriend's gonna kill me when she comes out and finds out my bank statements. But
you got another wardrobe. Right?
Yeah, I got my LA wardrobe. Yeah. No, but no, I love being out here. It's the American vibe, I feel. You know, everybody's so positive and only happy to see you succeed. And if you don't succeed, they're there to support you anyway. I like that, and I feel like the UK mentality has to develop that, because I don't feel it's the same back home. I really don't, you know. But it's nice to come out here, and I love it out here, and the food is great, you know. I don't know yet, but I'm gonna find out after weigh-ins on Friday. But everybody else has been telling me the food is great, so I'm looking forward to getting the weigh-ins done on Friday and start getting big, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Tuesday night now, Saturday night, this fight with Pedro. Like, how do you see this one playing out, and how does it all kind of end in the way you're kind of imagining it?
It's going the distance. I believe that, and I believe it's got fight the night written all over it. You know, I feel like it's the fittest I've ever been before a fight. My fitness. That's the thing with people, like my fitness, nobody ever asks questions about my fitness because they know how good it is. I feel like with Pedro, you know, he's a bit of a slower fighter, don't get me wrong, and I've definitely picked up my speed over the last few months, but I do see it going 15 minutes, you know, and I see it being a fight of the night performance as well, you know. I gotta be realistic, he's a tough, durable fighter, never been stopped. His only 3 losses have come to guys in the top 10. Well, you know, it's going to be one of them. It's going to be a long shift, let's put it that way. Yeah,
for sure. And just lastly, actually, you know, bantamweight main event as well. TJ versus Cody. obviously you're going to be keeping an eye on it. What are you kind of expecting from this fight?
It's a fantastic fight. I loved watching the first fight. I thought it was an amazing fight. To be honest though, you know, I feel like Cohen's gone a lot quieter this fight. I'm not sure what's happened there, and I'm seeing a lot of things on TJ training, you know. So I'm leaning towards TJ for the minute, you know. But then again, if you watch the first fight, I know that it was a finish. It was close, you know. So it'd be nice to see what happens. But I'd say that TJ has definitely got the confidence, and he'll be rolling. I think that would be major for this fight.
Great stuff, Brett. Thanks for your time. As I said, it's Tuesday night now, but this happens on Saturday night. Pedro Munhoz at Staples Center in Los Angeles. Watch Brett, and all the best, mate.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.